Hi, do you mind keeping me company while I make ceramic wine glasses?
Okay, let's see what we got here.
I made these this morning, so I needed them to dry for a bit, and so I need to check that they're all alright. And I was very excited to find out that.
They're all good. One of them, I think it was this one earlier, it like broke apart. It was just like the three pieces were like not friends anymore, but they reconciled. So, problem solved. Okay, so today we need to trim the goblets and attach them to their stems, which should be doable. Hopefully in an hour, so I can maintain a sleep schedule. But we will see. It needs to get done, so I'm gonna stay here until it's done. And I'm taking you with me. Alright, so I've decided to make a set of 4 wine glasses, dinner plates, soup plates, and like little cups. The plates are drying right now. I also made like a big wine jar to pour into the goblet. The goblets in question, I made 5 just because they're quite prone to breakage because it's very delicate shapes. So I guess let's get to trimming.
Per usual, I start by centering the piece and securing it down with little lumps of clay. These ones were a bit too soft, honestly, but it's fine. We power through, and I think I will just let you with the meditative sounds of the wheel, as this, when I do it, it just transports me to a different mind space. So enjoy. Here I'm taking my needle tool to mark little concentric circles because as I shaped it round, I'm not going to know exactly where the center was. And this also already scores it to then attach the stems to it. So it helps me as a guide, but it also helps with the technical aspect of it. And so then I repeated this process for all the 4 other ones so that I have 5 in total. This is all a bit too quiet and missing a bit of music, don't you think? A bit of cleanup never hurt anyone. I'm actually getting more and more into cleaning as part of the process and part of getting a second to reflect on what you're doing and evaluate how things are going. It is now time to assemble everything. So I bring everything over to my work table and you can see I'm trying to measure where I should cut the stems. And then I cut them so that they have a nice flat edge for the cups to sit on. And at this point, they had dried quite a bit, so it was really hard to do this without breaking them. I was so nervous. And then once I'm happy with the proportions, you see, like I told you earlier, that I scored the cups. I score the stem and add a bit of slip for it to then stick really well. Just slap it on and very gently, very carefully place it on top so that it creates a link between the 2 items. And then we go in with a bit of fresh clay that I then blend into both the cup and the foot. And so I do this by hand, but also with this little tool that has a bit of a rounded wooden shape. You know, it's always a bit wonky and I really try my best so that it's stable and that it holds up straight. And you see, we gotta straighten them seams so that they're almost invisible and that it looks like either the cup is like being born from the stem, or that the stem is kind of falling from the cup, or getting braided down the cup as if it was its hair, or as if it was like a root holding a flower. I feel like upside down they also quite look flowery and very plant-like. Actually, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna tell you about the original inspiration behind these, because this is my third time making a batch of these. And the very first time it was like a sort of trial run for an idea that I had, which was based on a drawing that I did over 2 years ago by now, I think. Wow, it's been a while. Yeah, but okay, so basically, how I even rediscovered this drawing is that I was looking to make prints. And so I was looking through my sketchbooks, and I had this one tiny, tiny sketchbook that I was carrying with me whilst I was doing my thesis in philosophy. And I would often go to the botanical gardens to write on my computer, and then I would just, because obviously there's nowhere to plug your charger in, so you just work until the computer is dead. And so with my computer, this was maybe for like 2 or 3 hours, and then I would just stay a bit in the garden. And so one of those times, I took my sketchbook with me, and then I ended up drawing some flowers, and I drew some magnolia flowers. You know, the ones that are white with the kind of pink center, and they have such a elegant and unique shape to them, especially in their petals. And then I remember talking about it with a friend who was telling me, oh, they're edible. And I was like, what? And so then I went back to the botanical gardens with this friend, and we had them, and they taste kind of like ginger. And my friend was telling me that she made syrup with them once, and I was really enamored with this idea, and I thought of a project which would combine ceramics and glass, where you could drink magnolia syrup from it, which is also inspired like by the shape of it. I think it kind of looks like those like old champagne glasses that are kind of in the same tapered out martini glass shape. And so I wanted to make the flowers out of ceramic and then blow glass into it. But of course, I don't do glass blowing, or at least not yet. So I had to do it purely out of ceramic. And I was like, you know what? I might as well do the cups on the wheel, as I feel like it just makes them sturdier and allows for the stem to be kind of crazy, because I feel like if the two elements are crazy, I actually even tried this, if the two elements are crazy, it doesn't really work and it often pops off. But in this project, even with the risk removed, shit still goes wrong, and the inevitable happened.
I fucked up. When I was cutting the top of this, the foot just came off. I'm gonna try and save it. I don't think it's wise. I don't think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna pop in the kiln, but you gotta try. gotta try. But I mean, I made one extra anyway, so even if it doesn't survive, it's fine. It would be nice if it survived though, because like otherwise, just gonna. But yeah, so let's fix it.
I'm using a bit of vinegar and other chemicals that help dissolve the clay particles. And in this case, I decided not to put any slip, as it would like add another layer and would fuck up the height. And the whole point is that it needs to be at the same height. So I was hoping that just like this, it would work. So, pressing it into it so much, and then compressing from all possible sides so that the clay particles befriend each other again. And making sure that the seams are right, and that because both bits were kind of touching the two other, let's say, legs, it needed to be connected to, so all three parts that it detached from.
You can kind of tell, but not that much. standing. It's not straight though. Nice, let's put it straight and then let's fix it. I think we might be fine. At least before the firing, it'll look fine. It'll look normal.
But you do need some sort of extra clay, extra stability in there. So because I didn't put any slip, I decided to still put clay on the outside. And then I did add slip on the inside where the 3 legs meet.
Okay, I think if it manages to stick to the other pieces, I could have scored the other pieces to make it stick to that instead of sticking to itself. But we might be fine. We might be fine. I just think I cannot attach the cup to it yet because it's gonna fall under the weight of this one. So I'll have to put it under wraps and wait a bit longer, or rather dissolve the clay so it can link back to itself. Is it straight? Still no. Okay, it's straight-ish. We leave it. I'm just gonna mark it here that we know it's this one for tomorrow to check if it's fine. Guys, I can't see. I forgot my glasses. Where are they? Okay, we are done for today, and it is 11:30, which is fine given everything that happened. Drum roll, please. Ta-da! And now I make them fall. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching and see you next time.